People used to treat me like I was nothing, an afterthought in a world glittering with privilege and power. My name is Zara Johnson, and once I danced for coins and stares, my heart beating in rhythm to a street corner's hard pavement. I was a ghost drifting through the lavish entrance of the Metropolitan Cultural Center, where light and laughter belonged to others, not to a homeless black girl. But there I was, pirouetting in the sun's warm embrace, my soul illuminating the shadows cast by indifference. Each spin whispered dreams of grandeur. This was my stage, my defiance. And yet security guards were quick to dismiss my artistry, treating my existence like an unwanted disruption in their world of elite isolation. It was painful and cruel, but as I faced their hostility, I discovered a fierce self-belief ignited by humiliation. At fateful day, a glint of compassion sparkled in the gaze of Marcus Patterson, wheelchair-bound yet free in spirit. He too knew exclusion. He questioned why I had to be treated like a stranger to beauty, and his inquiry planted seeds of hope in my heart. I promised myself that I wouldn't just dissolve into despair, I would rise from this moment. Little did I know, destiny was orchestrating a miracle. Armed with newfound confidence and an undeniable connection, I challenged not only my fate, but the very fabric of prejudice that sought to silence me. This was just the beginning, a prelude to something extraordinary, a redemption arc poised to reclaim not just my dreams, but also the dreams of countless others like me. "Stop! You can't dance here!" The security guard's voice cut through the air like ice. Zara flinched, her feet momentarily stilled. Customers at the Metropolitan Cultural Center turned, eyebrows raised, whispers buzzing among them. Victoria Whitmore, dressed in designer clothes, stood arms crossed, her gaze sharp as a knife. "This is not a place for street performers," she scoffed, her disdain palpable. Zara's heart raced, but she squared her shoulders, palms slick with sweat. "I'm not a performer, I'm a dancer." Her words a defiant melody against the harsh reality of rejection. "Dancer or not, you don't belong here, get lost," the guard growled, moving closer with a menacing stride. From a distance, Marcus Patterson, wheelchair-bound yet full of spirit, stared wide-eyed. "Why are they being mean to her?" he asked his father James. The innocence in his voice made Zara feel seen, if only for a moment. "Because she's different," Victoria replied, voice laced with condescension. "This is a place for talent, not—" "Not what?" Zara interrupted, her breath hitching with frustration. "Not black, not poor?" "Enough!" Victoria snapped, glancing at her watch as if time demanded her attention more than Zara's humanity. But Zara's resolve hardened. "You can look away, but I won't stop. I dance for every girl who's ever been put down. Unday." "Let's go," the guard barked, grabbing Zara's arm, but she pulled free, spinning into an electrifying pirouette, a swirling defiance against their judgment. In that moment, the world shifted around her, and Zara danced not just for herself, but for all who had been wronged. The crowd held its breath, caught in the fierce magic of her spirit. Zara stood at the edge of the crowded sidewalk, sunlight glinting off the metallic wheelchair beside her. She could hear the laughter of children filtering from inside the Metropolitan Cultural Center, a sound so distant and foreign that it felt like a cruel reminder of her exclusion. Her heart raced as she moved to a rhythm only she could hear, a bittersweet melody that bounced around her thoughts, fueling her passion. But today, her dance was interrupted. A heavy-set security guard approached, his shoulders squared and a frown plastered on his face. "You need to leave. This is private property," he barked, shattering Zara's focus. The anger roiled within her, simmering like a storm waiting to break. Around her, eyes shifted away, some out of discomfort, others out of apathy. Then from the corner of her eye, she noticed him. Marcus, James Patterson's son, watched intently, his own wheelchair framing a blend of curiosity and concern. His innocent gaze was a tether in her chaotic world. It clung to her heartstrings in a way that took her breath away. But the guard's voice drowned out the connection as he pushed her back once more. "You don't belong here!" Disillusioned moment. The moment her identity was made so starkly clear that Zara felt the pulse of frustration ignite within her. A tear fell, but she quickly wiped it away with a fierce determination. Shaking with a mix of shame and fury, she whispered to the guard. "Watch me, just watch." It wasn't just a challenge, it was a promise. Today was different. Today something would change. Take as Zara continued to dance. Her heart raced with a newfound determination. The oppressive whispers of the security guards faded into a dull hum, replaced by the rhythm of her own heartbeat. She looked towards the horizon, envisioning the future she deserved. "This is just the beginning," she whispered to herself, a promise stronger than the barriers before her. Days later, as she scrolled through her phone, an idea sparked. Connecting with activists online, Zara shared her story and discovered hidden evidence of systemic discrimination within the Metropolitan Cultural Center. Each document she dug up was a small victory, building her confidence and clarity about the justice she sought. "You won't silence me," she murmured, a newfound courage setting in. At dinner with the Pattersons, she spoke with conviction, revealing the truth behind her struggles. "My mom taught me that we can't let society define our worth," she stated, eyes locking with Marcus. "We all deserve a stage." And for the first time, she felt seen, not just as a dancer, but as a warrior for change. "Let's make some noise," Marcus grinned, enthusiasm shining through his eyes. As they plotted their strategy for the charity event, Zara felt the weight lift. Each joke they shared, every plan hatched, ignited her spirit further. She was no longer just a street performer. She was a voice of resistance. The night of the charity event, Zara stepped onto the stage, breathing deeply. With every movement, she reclaimed her narrative, her story resonating with the crowd. "You've all failed to recognize the gift of diversity," she declared, her voice strong, yet calm. In that moment, she realized the power of her small victories, an act of defiance branching out into a greater revolution, illuminating a path toward justice. The charity event reverberated with excitement as the elite gathered, unaware of the storm about to unfold. James Patterson stood on the stage, his voice steady yet charged with emotion. "Tonight we celebrate art, but we must also confront a painful truth." He turned, gesturing toward a spotlight that illuminated Zara, who stood poised at the entrance, a beacon of defiance. As she stepped forward, her body moved with a combination of vulnerability and strength, capturing the audience's attention. Gasps filled the room as Zara's dance poured out her story, the struggles, the pain, the profound beauty of resilience. For every twirl, every leap, she drew their hearts closer, wrapping them in the raw energy of her spirit. James paused, allowing Zara's ethereal presence to wash over the crowd before continuing. "This is Zara Johnson, a dancer who has been denied her worth because of the color of her skin. A dancer who has faced humiliation and prejudice in this very institution." The atmosphere shifted sharply. Whispers of discontent rippled through the gathered elite. Tasked with the flick of a wrist, Victoria Whitmore, who had watched from the sidelines, was exposed. James unveiled the evidence, documents and testimonies meticulously compiled by Zara and activist allies that shattered the facade of exclusivity and privilege. A collective gasp filled the air as anger brewed amid the previously adoring attendees. Their admiration shifted towards outrage, a palpable backlash towards the woman who had cloaked herself in elitism. Zara, still dancing, caught sight of Victoria's ashen face. The proud director's carefully constructed world of exclusivity was unraveling. Humiliation washed over Victoria as she struggled to regain her composure, realizing the tide had turned against her. This was not a violent revenge, but rather a silent triumph. Zara danced on the ashes of prejudice while Victoria crumbled, rendered powerless by her own oppressive legacy. Play as the crowd began to clap, tentatively at first, but growing into a roaring affirmation, Zara stopped dancing to address them directly. "Art belongs to everyone. No one should be silenced because of who they are." A wave of applause erupted, a chorus of agreement that transformed the room. That night, justice was not merely served, it was celebrated. As I sit here, reflecting on the journey I've taken, I realize how profoundly things have changed. I can still feel the remnants of that fierce humiliation, the weight of judgment I faced as I danced on those unforgiving streets. Yet, in the midst of rejection, I found my voice and the courage to rise above it. It was never just about dancing. It became a catalyst for something larger, a movement towards justice and recognition. The warmth of new relationships, particularly with Marcus, opened my eyes to the power of empathy and understanding. We may have come from different worlds, but our struggles intertwined, reminding me that we're all human, woven together through shared experiences of pain and hope. I emerged stronger, wiser, but still humbled by the complexities of our society. As I step into this new role, I wonder aloud, do you think I went too far? Have you ever felt marginalized, treated as less than what you are? I invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's engage in an honest conversation about right versus wrong, power and justice. Your voice matters.